Back to Comic Book Wednesdays, a weekly series where we discuss comic books. We're your hosts. I'm Ian,
I'm Shane.
and we're back with a final week, or at least for now, of Ghostbusters.
Woohoo!
Shane,
Spooky.
now I happen to notice, and maybe this is just me, but this was slightly shorter than most weeks. Uh, talk about it with me. Talk about it with me.
Yes, it was shorter. I did notice that basically the way that the volume ended, and the reason that I chose to end it here, two specific reasons. One, the way that the volume ended with this kind of like cliffhanger with Janos just kind of being in his cell. I was like, okay, cool. No matter what, we're gonna end on a cliffhanger because that's the way that these issues have been going. So
Mm-hmm.
I might as well not start a new volume. That way, when we pick it up again in the future, I can just start from a new volume and we can just continue on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then secondly, this was funny enough, like looking at the page length compared to other ones, this one was significantly shorter. I'm not sure why, but it was. And like that I just felt was a little bit odd. Yeah. I also had kind of an issue, like this is just me, like the way that they wrapped up some of the things that they were supposed to be wrapping up, it was like, okay, there's like maybe half a page or a page of like explanation, boom. And it's like that you could have expanded on that. Like in my personal opinion, it just felt like some of the wrap ups were short for no reason.
I I feel like there was a lot, just like a lot of quick writing with this book overall. I mean,
Hmm.
it's not bad. It's just the style that they chose. It's
I guess like I was after our last conversation about like all of the different like integrations of death in the Ghostbusters universe, like
hmm
I got really excited because I was like, "Oh, there's so many ways they could explore that. I'm really curious as to how this is going to go." And like Death seemed kind of like a little bit what we were discussing about how Death just has a job to do. Like it's not positive, it's not negative, it's just doing a job. And as soon as it was freed from the bag, it went and did its job.
right. Yeah, absolutely. Really cool, like depiction of death, by the way. Um,
Yeah.
and I really want to see where that goes. Like I know like the Yano sitting in his room like is a cliffhanger, but I feel like the whole death thing felt not concluded and felt like a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I'd like to explore that more in like future issues because like Janos like it's a good reference to Ghostbusters 2 and like he even said like, I am not Vigo. Like you saw through my deception, I'm not Vigo. So like we have a new mystery player who like is coming there to mess with them, but that's just kind of like a I don't know. Now that we've gotten a taste of like some of the fan servicey stuff, and we've gotten a taste of what they can do when they're doing like regular stuff, like their own creative like interpretations. I like to see more of that because I feel like when they were doing their own like kind of creative interpretations, it was really interesting because it was just new ways to tell the stories.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, their stuff, like the newer like stories that are like unique to them. Like I like that kind of stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I really liked the this latest stuff with all the ghost energy, like being too high because death being gone and then building up, like all that. I loved all of that. Um,
Yeah.
it's so unique. Um, I wasn't a huge fan when in the beginning because it just felt like they were rehashing the movie and it felt kind of cheap
Hmm.
to me. But no, having sat through all of it now, being at the end, looking at hindsight at everything, Like I really enjoyed this run that we had on with Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I was describing the comics kind of a little bit to my one buddy, and he was like, "Oh, that reminds me of the TV show." Like, so he said the same thing with not even reading it.
Oh,
Yeah,
totally. With all the like little references and the things that they've tried to do, like especially with some of the characters that we know from the real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters, like I'd be totally, what I'd like to do is like the next time we do this, I'd like to watch the cartoon at least even a few episodes just so that the next time we pick it up it's like, yeah, just to get a feel. And like I have a question for the two of you. So like I always, whenever I go see a new movie, like I always, Tessa and I always go over this question. So like with this being a book that, you guys haven't read, can you tell me what was something you really liked and what was something you didn't like?
you want to start?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a very good point.
I like that. Yeah. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna start with something I don't like. I did not like the
Sure.
period of time where it was very like episodic. Um,
Mhm.
I personally just enjoy comic books that go over the course of many issues. Um, but what I did like to add to that is how the writers would take storylines and extend them kind of like sneakily throughout the whole book. Um, like the death thing, that was like a one-off issue for a little bit, and then it comes back. They did a lot of really good foreshadowing in these books, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, that's a very good point. Um, for me, I'm gonna my inner historian wants to be nitpicky. Uh, so I really enjoyed the mythology and like the representation and like the homework that they did put in when they're mentioning some of the like things that was, especially when the Ghostbusters were traveling to different like areas across America, like the folklore and stuff that they were looking at, like even with the Native American curse, like I don't know much about like Native American stuff, but it wasn't just like a, oh, this is an ancient native curse, we need like insert blah 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 to get rid of it. Like they actually treated it like how the Ghostbusters would handle any curse regardless. So I thought that was really cool.
It's
Me just
definitely
being
really cool.
nitpicky, and I know that this is just a me thing. The ending, like, this is the same reason why some horror movies get to me. The ending bit with Janos and like he had all those like runes and stuff all over his like room. I got curious and I was like, oh, like what is there a reason that they're using like this combination? And I was like, nah, it's just gibberish. It was just meant to look scary.
I know you really appreciate when writers do their homework on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I know it's a me thing and it's just me being nitpicky, so like no big deal. Yeah. Well, I've told Ian before, like just as a funny thing, that like I've watched horror movies and like me being like somebody who, with the history stuff that I study, religion and mysticism is like kind of my area. It's what I want to continue studying. And so like if I watch a horror movie and it's like, oh, here's this symbol that they use to summon a demon, it's like, no, that just means trees. Good job. And, yeah. Yeah, there's been a few horror movies where I've watched like this is to be the final thing I'm saying. I'm just like, ah, cool. That's damn it. Nope. That actually means the opposite of what you were going for. Awesome.
Congratulations, you look stupid.
Yeah. But no, the I don't know if you guys know about this, but there was a Ghostbusters board game that was released in tandem with these comics that like was set in the same universe, and you had like painted figures of like the Ecto One and like the proton packs and like the actual like all the different Ghostbusters. So that was it was very complicated, but it was a pretty cool board game.
It sounds cool. I had no clue. Um, but I really like complicated board games, so I'm down. I
Don't
mean,
worry, I'll bust it out.
that's right, man. I could just sit there all afternoon and play board game.
Um, but yeah, like those are kind of like my thoughts on it, and like with the issues themselves, they did answer like at least I felt like they tried to answer like some of the questions that we were kind of thinking about.
Oh yeah, I mean like it kind of came to like a nice little conclusion, but like as in like any great book, like as you answer questions, right? You you ask more, right? And you have the reader
Mm-hmm.
guessing, and you want to come back for more because like now we've gotten to the end of what we're reading, but like I do want to see what happens next. I am excited. Um, that said, like I am also equally excited for uh, our next book, which is
Yeah.
The Last Ronin. And now I have a confession. I had bought The Last Ronin ages ago, but I have not finished it, gotten all the way through it, for a very specific reason.
Okay.
I wanted to read it with you guys for the first time.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's awesome.
So here we are.
Hell yeah.
Me too. I can't wait. Um, yeah, I'm really excited for it. It just first off, quality looking book, just like holding it in your hands, it feels really nice.
Hmm. And like also how rare is it for all of us to have the same like physical media? Like that's cool.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
like
absolutely.
definitely, and like I can't even think of another one that we all have the same.
Mm.
No, I think this might be the only one. Yeah, no,
So next week are we doing like the first three chapters?
eh, I'm fine with that. Yeah, that works for me. I let's shoot for the first three. And if they like prove to be longer than normal comics, then we can kind of adjust from there. Cool. I'm down with it. Any other final words on Ghostbusters before we do any move on here?
Mm. Yeah, I think I covered the like the main bits that I was thinking of.
Okay, cool. All right then. I think that's it for us in Ghostbusters. I hope y'all all have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, people.
Thanks, guys. Bye.